Hello everyone. Today's class we are going to study the three important topic, that is wait and wait PID function. Next one is wait ID. Next one is wait 3 and the wait 4 function. So all this API we are going to study one by one. So in the previous class we have studied how the process is going to be created by using the for command or fee4 command. So one more API we have studied, that exit, right? So exit API. So for what purpose we are going to use exit API? To exit from the process we are going to make use of exit API. So this exit API can be used either normally or abnormally. That means that the process is going to terminate either normally or abnormally. So now though, what is that wait and wait PID function is going to use? So for what purpose we are going to use? So what its prototype? So we are going to explain this API with the simple program. So let us see, the first thing is why we need this wait and wait PID function. So first one, so when the process is going to terminate, either it is going to be normal or abnormal, right? The process is going to terminate either normally or abnormally. So whatever it is, whether it is normal or abnormal, so what the kernel is going to do, the kernel is going to intimate the parent. So it is going to intimate the parent by using or by sending the signal child. So when the parent is going to get this signal, then the parent thinks that the child is going to be terminated. So now after that, the parent, to get the status of the child process, it is going to make use of the two important function. One is wait and the wait PID to get the status of the child, right? So we are going to make use of wait and wait PID. So this is the one important use of the wait and wait PID. So second use, what is the second advantage of using wait and wait PID function? So the second advantage is that, so we know that the parent is going to create the child, right? So the parent is going to create the child by using the for command or fee4 command, right? So the two things is going to happen, that is when the P is going to, that is parent is going to create the child, the parent and the child is going to work simultaneously in the fork. So now the second case, when it is going to created by using the fee4 command, the parent is going to stop its execution and it is going to transfers the control to the child. So it is, the parent is going to wait until all the child is going to be terminated. So that is the two case is going to happens when we are going to make use of for command or fee4 command respectively. Now when the parent is going to create the child, now the child is going to be terminate, right? The child is going to be terminate. So this termination process is asynchronous, right? So the child is going to be terminate at any time, right? So because of the signal, because of the interrupt, the child may going to terminate. So that has to intimate to the parent that I am going to be terminate, right? So if it is not going to inform, then the parent is going to be what? The parent has to wait. When the child is not going to inform to the parent, so what the parent is going to do? The parent is going to call the wait or wait PID function. So it is going to call the wait or wait PID function to get the information, that is the termination information about the child. So that is what the one thing. So second thing is, so now the parent is going to create the child. Now the child is going to execute its operation. So meantime, so the parent is going to be exit. before exit without intimating the child. So in that cases the child will become a zombie process, right? So zombie process. So what is the solution for the zombie process? The kernel is going to make the one of the process ID as 1. So that indicate that it is going to make the INIT process is a parent process. So this is what the zombie process. To avoid the zombie process and to get the termination information about the child, we are going to make use of wait and wait PID. So when you are going to call the wait and wait PID, three things is going to happen. First one is the block. When the parent is going to call the wait, suppose for example I am going to explain with the diagram. P is the parent. Now the parent is going to call the wait function or wait PID function. So in that cases, so it is going to call the wait and the PID. Next after that the child, it will be given for the child, and the child is going to return the exit status to the parent, right? So in that cases, the when the parent is going to call to the child using the wait and wait PID, the parent is going to be blocked. The parent is going to be blocked until all the child is going to be terminate. So when you are going to make use of wait or wait PID, so that is the first thing it is going to happen, that is block. Second one is when the parent is going to call this wait or wait PID function, wait or wait PID function. So it is going to return, the exit status is going to be written immediately, that is the termination status is going to be written immediately to the parent, right? Now suppose for example the parent is, third case is the parent is going to call the wait and the wait PID. If no child is there, then what happens? What it is going to happen? Then it is going to return the error message immediately to the parent, that so since it does not have any child, if it is going to call wait and the wait PID, it is going to get error message. So that is the three things is going to happen when the parent is going to call the wait and the wait PID API. First one is it is going to block, and the second one is it is going to return immediately with the termination status. The third one is, so even though it does not have any child, if it is going to call wait and the wait PID, it is going to return immediately with the error message. So this is the three thing is going to happen when we are going to make use of wait and wait PID function. Now let us see the what is the syntax, what is the parameter it is going to accept. So all the thing we are going to study with the syntax. Let me explain. So what is the prototype for the wait and wait PID? What are the parameter it is going to accept? Next one, after that what are the values it is going to take? So first one, we are going to make use of the header. The header is sys_wait.h. So for wait and wait PID, the function definition is written in the header wait.h. So the first one, the PID, that is the PID/_t is the return time. So what it is going to return? The process identification number it is going to return. Now the function name wait, and it is going to accept the only one parameter, that is int stat loc, that is nothing but the location. That is stat, we know that is going to holds the process information, right? So all the process information will be stored it in a one data structure, that is stat, and its location, that is stat location. So it is what? It is a integer pointer. so it is going to return the address, right? So here we have to specify the address. So second one, PID underscore T wait PID. So wait PID is going to accept the three argument. The first one is PID, the second one is int std stat location, the third one is int option. So this is the 3 parameter it is going to accept. So which one? The wait PID. Let us see the difference between the what is this wait and the wait PID. See here, the first argument for both the wait and the wait PID, that is the stdt location. So we know that the after executing this, the process is going to terminate, right? So the process is going to be terminated until that the parent is going to be blocked. That is the first case. When this function is going to be executed, it is going to return immediately the termination status. If no child is there, then it is going to return the error message, right? So in that cases, it is going to return what? It is going to return the termination status. Termination status, right? Status. So all the process is going to return the termination status. This status can be either the integer value, right? So it is will be the successful or a unsuccessful. That is, the termination can be normal or a abnormal. So now it is going to return the status. That status is going to be stored it in a memory. That location, that is the location of this termination status, is going to be pointed by which operator? That is stat location. So it is going to act as a pointer which holds the address, for which one? For the termination status. So this is what the first argument for the wait. In the wait PID, the second argument which works similar, right? So which work same. Now the wait and the wait PID. So what is the difference between this wait and the wait PID? At the end I am going to tell in detail. Now as of now, the wait is going to block. So what is that? The wait is going to block. So the block is nothing but, we are seeing that the wait, when you are going to call the wait by the parent, to which one? To the child. What happens? It is going to block. So what it is going to block? It is going to block the parent, right? So until all the child process is going to be terminate, so it is going to block. So which function? The wait function. So next, wait PID function. Wait PID function is not going to block the parent. So it is going to be unblock one. So when the parent is going to call the wait PID function, the parent is going to be unblock one. So that means that the parent is going to perform the other operations. But here in the wait, the parent is going to be blocked. It cannot do the other operation. That is what the disadvantage. To overcome that, we are going to make use of wait PID. In that, the parent is going to perform the other operation after calling the wait PID function to the child, right? So this is the major difference between the wait and the wait PID. So wait is going to block, wait PID is not going to block, right? So the wait is going to be used for termination of the single child, right? So what do you mean by that? So when you are going to call the wait, see the parent, we are having the parent. Now the parent is created the many child. Suppose for example, child 1, child 2, child 3. Now when it is going to call the wait API, so any one of these child is going to be terminated. Now the parent has to wait. So for all the child to be terminated, then only it is going to resume, right? So this is what the wait. But when you are going to make use of wait weight PID, when you are going to make use of weight PID, suppose for example, same example, the parent created the 3 child. Now the user want the particular process to be terminated, so it wants the termination status of the child 2. So in that cases, it is going to make use of PID and it is going to call the child PID, child to PID. Now this indicate that the wait PID is going to waiting for the particular child. So it is not compulsory that it has to wait for all the child. So you can get the termination status immediately for the particular child, but it is not possible in the wait, right? So the wait is going to perform the termination operation any one of the child. It is not any one of the child. So it may be C1, C2, C3. So but here you can take the termination status for the particular child. So that is what the second difference between the wait and the wait PID. So now let us see the prototype with the detail. Now the wait is going to take only one parameter, that is state location. So that is going to hold the location for the termination status. Second wait PID is going to be takes the 3 argument. The first one is what? The process ID. So as I said, the PID is going to get any one of the child termination status. You can specify here. See here, the PID, in that you can specify 1, 2, 3. So what is that 1, 2, 3? Is the process identification number for child. Suppose for example, child 1 is going to have the 1, 2, 0, that is child 2 is going to have the 1, 2, 3 and then 1, 4, 5. So this is the process ID of child 1, child 2, child 3 respectively. So you can get the child 2 process ID by making use of 1, 2, 3. That is, you can get the termination status of the child 2 by specifying the process ID 1, 2, 3. So here you can specify the 1, 2, 3. So this indicate that the parent want the termination status of the child 2. Next one, that is, as I said, it is a termination status. Now the option is going to be considered. So we are having the 3 important option. So that is, we are going to study one by one. Now understood the concepts wait and the wait PID. Now the second one, the first argument. Now the first argument PID PID, that is what? The first argument for the wait PID. So what are the process identification number you can specify as a first argument. So if the process ID is equal to 1, so in the place of, instead of this, if you are going to specify -1, so what indicate? It is going to indicate that it is going to wait for any child. So when you are going to make it as the value -1, this is going to act as a which function? Wait function. Why? Because the wait is going to be used for taking any termination status of any child, right? So that is what the wait. So when you are going to make the first parameter -1, it is going to act like a wait function. Second one is if the PID is greater than 0. So what is to indicate that? Wait for the child process. That is, it is going to wait for the particular process ID. Suppose instead of this, I am going to give the 1, 2, 3. So this indicate that I am waiting for the child 2 in this example. Now next one, if the process ID is equal to 0, so what it indicate? It is going to wait for the any child who is going to be equal to the process group ID, that is the process group ID, so equal to the calling process. So instead of this, the process ID, I am going to specify the some value that is equal to indicate that. So what it indicate? It is going to indicate that it is waiting for the group. See here, this one is, suppose for example, this is the whole one group. It is going to wait for the group. Suppose for example, the group name is something student and its ID is equal to 0. So this indicate that the process, when you are going to pass the value 0, so it is going to consider any child termination status, it is going to wait, so which belongs to the particular group. So what is that group? I specified 0 there. So this is what the second parameter, this is what the first parameter for the wait PID. So it is going to wait for any child when you are going to specify the value -1. So you can specify the positive number, that is integer number, that is going to wait for the particular process identification number. Now the PID is equal to 0. It wait for the termination status of the particular child who belongs to the particular group with the process identification number for the group that you have to specify. So this is what the first parameter. We come across second parameter. Let us see what is the third parameter for the wait PID. Let us continue with the third parameter, that is option. So for which API? For the wait PID. So this option is going to take those 3 important values, right? So one is W. So W is prefixed here, the W, then continued. Next one W, then after that the W out traced, right? So next one W no hang. So this is what the 3 important value we are going to specify for the option argument. So let us see the first one, W continued, right? So now the thing is that the wait is not going to support for the job control. So which function? That is wait. Not going to support for the which one? That is job control. So we know that how the Unix operating system and the POSIX operating system is going to control the job, right? So it is going to support for the BSD job control, that is Barclay system Unix operating system. It is going to make use of the 2 important concepts, that is foreground and then next one is background. Now the BSD operating system and the POSIX operating system is going to make use of the foreground and the background, right? So to support for the multiple tasking to be executed simultaneously, that is what the Unix operating system, right? Multi-user multitasking. So if suppose for example I am going to run the first job, that is going to be run in the foreground, that is job 1. So now I likes to execute the one more job. So then what I am going to do, I am going to make this foreground job is going to be passed to the background job. Then after that the process job 1 is going to for the background and the new job will comes to the foreground for the execution. So there is a contact switch between the background to the foreground, foreground to the background for the execution of the multiple jobs at the same time. So that is what the job control. Now the wait is not going to support for the job control, but wait PID is going to support for the job control. Through what? Through this option parameter. So now see here, the first one, W continued. That means that if the implementation support the job control, so that means that if your program what you are written going to support the job control, that is the operating system is going to support the job control, then the status of any child, is not going to be blocked, then it is going to be continued. That is nothing but continued. So the any child is specified by the PID, that is going to be continued. Suppose for example, the process P is going to create the three child 1, child 2 and the child 3. Now the P is wants to the termination status of the child 2, right? So in that case it is going to specify the 1, 2, 3. So in here it is going to specify 1, 2, 3. Now the status termination status location it is going to give. In the option it is going to specify W continued. So in that cases the parent is going to call the wait PID function with that argument. Now it will comes to the child 2, right? So in that cases it is going to be stop, and then after stopping it has to send the termination status to the parent, right? So it has to stop. So what it is indicate that the child 2 is going to stop its execution, and it is going to send the status information back to the parent, then it is going to be stopped, right? So that is the usual thing. So when you are going to specify W continued, then after sending the termination status to the parent, it is not going to be stopped, it is going to continue. So that is what the job control. So now the child 2 is continue its work after sending the termination status to the parent, right? So it will come, it is going to execute the other operations. Now after that, second one is the W untraced, untraced. That means that if the implementation support the job control, the status of the child what you specified PID, it has to be not the continue, you have to specify stopped. That means that when the parent is going to call the wait PID with the W untraced, in that cases it is going to stop. Which one? When the child 2 is going to send the status termination status to the parent, it is going to stop its execution. So that is, it is going to return immediate termination status to the parent. So that is what the W untrace. The last one is W no hang. That means that it is not going to block the child. So after sending the status termination status to the parent, it is not going to block. So it is going to return the value 0, right? So the 0 indicate that the child is not going to be blocked. So now this wait and the wait PID, the overall it is going to return the 3 important value, that is PID. The PID, process identification number, right? So otherwise it is going to return the value 0. So when there is a no hang, that is not a block child is going to be specified, it is not going to block the child. So in that cases it is going to return the value 0. This is what successful. So if it is unsuccessful, it is not okay, then it is going to return the value -1. So this is what the PID wait and the PID T wait PID. So now we are seeing the 3 important difference between the wait and the wait PID. So let me write one by one. Wait wait PID. So what is the first one? The wait is going to block the parent, right? So it is not going to block, right? So the wait is going to block the parent, but the wait PID is not going to block the parent. So what is the second difference? The wait is going to take the any termination status of the child, but here we can specify the particular, specifies the PID, particular child process ID. The third one is the wait is not going to support for the job control, not going to support job control, but the wait PID is going to support job control. This is what the three important difference between the wait and the wait PID. Now we understood that what is wait, what is wait PID, right? So now we are going to explain with the simple program how this option and how this PID, how this start location is going to work in with the simple program. So before going to that, so I am going to explain the few more options that is going to be supported by the wait PID. Before illustrate the program for the wait and the wait PID, so we have to know the few macros which is going to be supported by the POSIX operating system. So this POSIX operating system is going to make use of the macros to get the status information. So what is that means? The termination status is to be looked at the using various macros. By using these macros, we can fetch the what is the termination status value for the particular child. So we are having three important macros, though every macro is going to be prefixed with the WIF. So WIF, the exit ED of status. So this is what we are going to use for the condition, to specify the condition. So to specify the condition whether exit ED of status, that is used for the condition. To fetch the actual status value, we are going to use the W exit status of the argument is status. So what is this macro indicate that? So it is going to return true. So what it is going to do? It is going to return true. So what is WIF exit of ED indicate that? True. It is going to return the value true if the status return for child is normally. So if the child is going to be terminate normally, then it is going to return the value true. So for the normal case, we are going to make use of WIF exit of ED. So next one, when you are going to make use of WIF signal ED, that indicate that it is going to return the value true if the status return for the child is abnormal. So now for that particular, to get the status information, we are going to make use of W term signal. So it is going to fetch the actual status, whether it is a 7 or 8, some value it is going to return, right? The status value that it is going to return by using this function. Next one is the WIF stopped status. So what is that indicate that? It is going to return the value true. So if the currently running child is going to be stopped. So in that cases we are going to make use of wstop sig of status. So this is the three important macros we are going to specify to get the actual termination status by the kernel, right? So this is what the POSIX.1 macros. So now let us see the program. The program is going to make use of the fork command, wait PID command. Then after that it is going to make use of the macros. So let us see the example, then I am going to explain in detail.